On today's episode, we go over the letter from Cubs owner Tom Ricketts. We also dig into some news and notes, including some on Drew Smyly and the Cubs' lowest attendance since what year? That's all ahead.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Wednesday episode. And if it is rainy where you are, as it is in the Chicagoland area for much of today, we hope to make your day a little brighter. So there's the cheesy line of the day. You could maybe add that spot to the show bingo card. And Sam, a lot on the docket today as we continue to embark on this first full week of the offseason for the Northsiders. Tom Ricketts wrote a letter to fans and season ticket holders, attendance news and notes, and some pitching stuff.
How are you, Matthew?
As well. Good. I'm doing pretty well.
Good. It's gloomy.
Yeah, it is.
It's been a gloomy day. It's been a gloomy Tuesday.
Right. Yeah, gloomy Tuesday, but we really haven't had too many of these this fall. So, it's all good. I'll get the umbrella out.
Sure.
And hopefully the Cubs. I was going to try to make a transition there.
Yeah, not necessary. Let's just get into it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Cubs owner Tom Ricketts penned a letter to season ticket holders today. I right before we recorded, I realized that my Uncle Mike forwarded me the letter and as well. So I do have it in full. There is a lot to the letter. There's 7 paragraphs total, all pretty short graphs, but detailing some of 2022, some of the look ahead. I know that he penned a similar letter last year at this time, but just like the Jed Hoyer press conference on Monday, Sam, like we see in professional sports nowadays and even some collegiate sports, it is a lot of coach speak and executive speak and trying to cater to the fans in the moment right now. And I think this letter pretty much does that and maybe leans into a couple other things.
Yeah, I thought the letter was fine. There's maybe one part in there that I thought was, a positive. How he talks about, substantially improving the current roster. But like you said off the air, people are going to find a problem with anything in today's sports. Like I saw Cub fans react like, "Oh, I didn't like that Tom Ricketts letter." Well, what didn't you like about it? What is he supposed to say? There's an obvious plan here. It's like it's this continuous thing where if you don't like what the Cubs are doing, then you're not going to like anything that he says. Right until they start winning.
Correct.
But he what is he supposed to do in that letter? What did he say that was just completely? Yeah, sure, I get it. The 39-31 second half thing and the dream team, the Field of Dreams game aspect of it. Okay, so what? He's the owner of the team. He's trying to get people to be excited about the team and. I thought the letter was fine. I don't want to talk about it too much. I know you want to read a little bit of it. That's fine. I just think all this stuff, Matt, is just hearsay. When the team starts winning, it's not going to matter. It's about the product on the field. Jed, good press conference. Agree with a lot of it. Fine. Tom Ricketts wrote a letter. Fine. Win 90 games. Nobody's going to care if you come up to the press conference and eat a sandwich the entire time, right? It's about winning. That's what it's about. It's not about, you often hear, the Bears do the same thing. You have to dissect what the coach says every other thing or what the quarterback says or what Ross says. You dissect that stuff and look into that stuff, Matt, when you're losing, right?
Totally.
You could come up here and say whatever you want and wave a flag around. I mean, Jed Hoyer could do next year's thing shirtless if they win 95 games. People aren't going to care. It's about winning. Fans want a winner. Fans want something to root for. If they start winning, this stuff becomes moot. And that's why the Contreras thing, I'm over that. I tend to have the same reaction to all these little things. I want to talk about baseball. I want to talk about what this team has to do to win.
Yeah, we're going to, of course, do a lot of that as we already have throughout the time on this show. Yeah, I think the main points of contention with Ricketts, I have to imagine that a lot of that is off the field, and with a segment of the fan base, for whatever reason, they just can't get over some of the changes that have been made. And
You think
terms
people
like
are really mad about that still?
still,
Like, you think people are mad about the renovations?
if they're upset about the letter, I have to think that that's in their mind somewhere.
I think the people that are
Terms like Rickettsville, terms like Marquee Sports Network, terms like Hotel Zachary.
but those weren't in the letter,
you
were
can't.
they?
No. I'm saying that's what you would hear from fans
Right,
that
but
are
I think
upset.
again, I think nobody would care about that if they won. I think
Well,
like people I think the main issue with fans is that they punted on a season. They punted on the 2022 season, right? And I want to make one important point that I re-listened to our episode from yesterday.
oh wow,
And I want to make one important point. And I saw somebody comment on this about Jed Hoyer and their, here speak, GM speak, right, Matt?
right.
And what it was is, oh, Jed said this last year and he put out an uncompetitive team. I don't think Jed Hoyer thought that this team was going to be this bad. I've said that to you. I don't think that he put out a bad team on purpose. I think that he thought Stroman was going to be really good, and Hendricks and Suzuki and Horner and Happ and Contreras. I don't think he thought they were going to make the playoffs, but I don't think that he thought they were going to be as bad as they were at the trade deadline. I really don't. And then it turned out they evened itself out and got really hot at the end of the year. But I really believe that Jed Hoyer thought if things bounced right, that could be an 80 to 82 win team last year, and they only finished 8 games off the pace. My point is I don't think Jed Hoyer was what's the politically correct term for this? Fooling us, if you will. With last year's speak about, oh, we're going to try and be. I think he did try and be competitive. Now, he, of course, could have done more, and he made bad signings like Andrelton Simmons and Jonathan VR, and Wade Miley also got injured. There's a lot of issues there. But I really believe when he went out, they got Stroman for what was it, $70 million. They got Suzuki for over $100 million. I think they thought they were going to be competent this year. They weren't. My point is, I don't think he was fooling you. I think he's being genuinely transparent when he says, hey, we're going to try and make it. Now, trying doesn't work. It actually has to happen. But I just wanted to address that one point. I didn't mention that. I don't think Jed Hoyer thought this team was going to be, around last place for 3/4 of the year. I don't think he thought that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good analysis of the situation, and I enjoy each time when you break that kind of stuff down, because I also think one of the major points of contention, maybe even a myth surrounding Ricketts and really even the Theo era, much less the Jet era now, the Jet solo era, is about the Cubs and spending.
Yeah, it's overblown.
I know for years the Sun-Times purposefully got this wrong just to, I don't know, it was to sell papers or to get clicks. But the Cubs, really since Theo Epstein arrived to the North Side, have never been cheap, if that's what the word you want to use. I don't see that at all. That includes bad deals, by the way. There was good deals. There was bad deals.
A lot of them.
The Cubs didn't spend prior to the 2022 season. Well, we just chalked up quick math here, $50+ million of a total deals with Suzuki and Stroman. Okay, right. If you include the posting fee for Suzuki, it's even more than that.
Well,
so
and they
did spend,
and they also spent more this year than they did in 12, 13, and 14. And again, these were all rebuilding years. Yeah. Like, there's no reason to spend much more than last year. The Stroman and Suzuki signings had to have happened because they could help you win in this next window. Now, This upcoming window is where you could spend to win now and in the future. And then it's going to transition to winning now.
Here's the one paragraph we'll read today. There is positive momentum in our organization.
Agree.
Jed Hoyer and his team are building an expansive core of young, high ceiling players while making investments in infrastructure and tech to help them reach their maximum potential. We will be active in free agency and have the necessary resources available to substantially supplement our current roster.
That's the key.
As Jed has demonstrated, we will be driven by intelligent decision making as we build a roster that can win games in the postseason year in and year out. I think it's a good paragraph.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's like powerful, like drop
No,
dead, but
it's not the word of
good
Moses.
though.
It's not the word of Moses, but it's it's
There's no parting of seas, huh?
yeah, there's no parting of seas here. There's no 10 plagues. But it's fine. What do you want the guy to do? To knock on your door and apologize? It's just win. Figure out a way to win.
The other funny thing that I have to get a kick out of is also with like the Jed presser from yesterday. What do you want them to say? Yes, we're going to meet with Trey Turner.
Yeah, right.
We have Carlos Correa on our whiteboard.
People are
Say,
overreacting because they're impatient because the team's been losing. And the one thing that that Tom Ricketts did that is indefensible that I still am not over is the Marquee Sports Network. It's a bad product, and I don't like it. And that's something we could talk about at a different time. We've already talked about it extensively on the program.
Yeah.
But again, that'll become a better network too when you start winning.
Right. I think there's an element of us even talking about that, when it was the 9-game losing streak or whatever, since we've been on the show, maybe we did jab at Marquee when we otherwise wouldn't have if they were winning. I don't know.
What else is there to do when you're on a 9-game losing streak?
Right. Exactly. You're not exactly breaking down inning by inning of a ball game on a Tuesday night.
No, and for everybody this year that gets thrown out at third with less than 2 outs, you get fined $50,000.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, Tom Ricketts with the letter right there. We're going to poke around the offseason, of course, with regards to spending, and certainly a lot of new phrases coming our way the last couple days. Speaking of spending, does that correlate with attendance at Wrigley Field? And we're going to get into that right after this. But first, today's episode is sponsored by Roan. Have you noticed the pains of dress shirts nowadays, whether they're uncomfortable, whether they're tight, whether they're never your size? What about the hassle of changing clothes for different activities? Why hasn't there been a dress shirt that just makes you feel good? Well, now there is. The dress shirt was due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter shirt is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man. And here's why. Roan's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident with a wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's that easy. With Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day as well. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. The commuter shirt can get you through any day and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/lockedon and use promo code lockedon to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/lockedon and use the code lockedon. It's time to find your corner office comfort. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your pods, and also streaming daily on video with YouTube, and get interactive with us on there. Sam,
Comment,
the Cubs.
Like, subscribe,
comment,
DM, message. Ask me to hang out. No, don't do that.
Right. 2.62 million is the final fan number at Wrigley Field for the 2022 season.
Less than 3.
And this is the lowest total
Since
1997. Dang.
Well, I wonder what happened in 98 to get the total up.
Maybe a couple home runs.
Yeah.
Did that help baseball? Did 1998 help baseball for years to come? I don't remember.
Comment and text us at whatever the number is.
Clearly a low attendance figure, whether it's interest level, whether
For the
it's,
Cubs.
yeah, I mean,
What was it? Still like 9th overall, 8th, 9th
yeah, it's
overall.
still a good number, but yeah, the interest level was not there as much. They won 74 games. They won 37 at Wrigley. And these figures, as the summer and fall played out, it's not that surprising because they were projecting pretty low. And that happens when you get off to such a poor start as well, don't you think?
I think it's encouraging. I like that they didn't get the 3 million people. It forces them to do stuff.
Ooh, let's get some theories going.
It's not a theory. I just
Right.
think it's just, hey, I've always not liked the whole idea. Well, it doesn't matter if the Cubs win 100 or lose 100. Wrigley's going to have 40,000 every game during the summer. It's nice that fans were like, all right, I could do something else and force Ricketts and force Jed to go out there. Because at the end of the day, this is a business. This is an
Yeah.
asset-driven business.
Giant.
And you need people in the seats. And you need people watching the program and the network at home. And if neither of those two things are happening, it forces the hand of the owner of the team to make more on-field investments so they make money. And I like that they had a lower attendance figure. It's, I don't want them to be in a disaster where then they can't spend money next year and they start turning into the freaking A's or something like that. But 2.62 million is good enough to where it's still a fine number, right? Still probably top 10 in the league. But it's a bad enough number where Tom Ricketts says, all right, they're letting us know that they're not going to just sell out every game if we put out a mediocre to bad product. Let's go get some guys. So I think it's a positive. I like it. And to answer your question, it shouldn't be surprising. They stunk the first half of the year. As you beautifully said on yesterday's episode, the season was over May 15th.
Yeah. That was Sahadev Sharma helped me with that one in the presser yesterday.
Yeah.
I think that where the theory would come in is, okay, they get to the 3 million number, and then Tom Ricketts is like, I'm good. And we get it. It's a for-profit business.
Yeah,
that's where the conspiracies come in.
Right. And I think he would have to spend regardless because the marquee numbers were so down. But
right. It all adds up.
I just think it's a nice thing for Ricketts to know, hey, I don't have a guaranteed 3 million every single year, even if this team isn't good. Wrigley Field isn't a guaranteed 3 million. You have to have somebody on the field to get people there. And again, I think they know that, and I think they're going to fix that.
Whether it's you want to call it intelligent spending, which was
I'm
on
tired of that term.
The thumbnail today. Whether you want to call it substantially spending, which could be on the thumbnail for Wednesday. The point is spending will happen, and it must happen because that interest level will go up, attendance goes up, merch goes up, marquee goes up. It's all part of the conglomerate. It's all part of the wheel. And does spending automatically equal increases in those things? Maybe not, actually.
No.
But this is a big market with great fans. And if improvements are made within the white lines, okay, the chalk of the actual diamond itself, that translates to putting up that flag with the letter W on it more times than not, then it all will be good.
Amen.
That's a bar.
Amen. If you put up that W flag outside your home 90 times next year, people, everything will be resolved. The guy that's in charge of the picking up the peanuts on the seats after the game will get a raise. Okay,
right.
The guy that ushers you to the bathroom, he'll get a raise.
Well, when the Cubs do better, I can handle things better. Like if it's the summer and I'm in traffic, that's okay because the Cubs are winning.
When the Cubs
I can sit in traffic.
Yeah, no. It's the whole summer depends on that ball club day in and day out. Just like the fall depends on the football team.
Right. Hey, someone cuts you in line at Walgreens. Hey, that's cool. The Cubs just won 3 straight.
Yeah, the Cubs are on an 8-game winning streak. Not only do you cut me, your stuff's on me.
Oh, that's good stuff. Fun times.
God bless you. Go Cubs.
One player the Cubs are looking to restructure their payment on and bring him back for 2023 is pitcher Drew Smyly. And we discuss that next. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Again, thanks for making us your first listen. The Cubs right now are in the very early stages of the offseason. A lot can't happen officially.
Is it
until-
technically the offseason for the Cubs, or would you say until the World Series ends, it's considered the offseason?
Well, yeah, I was just trying to point that out. The day after the World Series is when stuff really officially kicks in terms of like contracts and 40-man roster and stuff. So I think you got to wait. So right now we're in the this buffer period, we're going to call it. What do you want to call it? The buffer?
There's a lot of things I was thinking of, but I let's go with buffer period.
You weren't thinking of anything. You weren't thinking of any terms right there, dog.
Man, I'll tell you this.
Boy, do I like doing this show.
Yeah, I like looking at you. I like doing the show too. All right,
be a clip.
Smyly, yeah.
Drew Smyly. Yeah, he makes us happy.
So, somebody commented about a month or two ago and said, hey, we were talking about if we're bringing guys back or whatever. And they said, if you bring Drew Smyly back, he's for sure a starter. I don't think that's the case.
No.
I think there's a chance he's in a relief role because as we've talked about, a frontline starter, Stroman, Steele, Hendricks, maybe Wisniewski's not ready yet, so Smyly gets that fifth spot. But I just think it's nice to have a guy like Smyly that could start in a pinch, or you could feel comfortable bringing him out of the bullpen. He had a really nice year for the Cubs. Pro bringing him back at a let's do this at an intelligent salary.
Well,
enough already. We get it.
You're done with the phrases?
I'm done. Win.
Well, I thought a contending team was going to be interested in Smyly.
They are. Chicago Cubs. Okay. Oh, you mean at the deadline.
Right. Late July, early August, around the trade deadline. For that very reason, he didn't have to start. He could have been a swing man. What's his role if you made the postseason? It could even be in the late innings. So a team didn't take advantage of that. Therefore, we got a longer look at Smyly, who finished the year 3.47 ERA and 22 starts, 106 innings.
Passed the eye test.
He logged a lot of innings despite, being on the shelf a little bit. Only 26 walks, 91 strikeouts, walks and innings, walks and hits per inning pitch, whip of 1.19.
Solid year.
He's 33, but he provides quality innings.
Solid.
He's a solid major league pitcher. And if you talk about versatility, you talk about depth as we have on the show, and Jed Hoyer mentioned on Monday in his presser, Drew Smyly you could make a case that he's an early offseason, or dare I say a buffer period priority for this team.
Yeah. I would push back a little bit of priority.
Right. Well, I'm just talking for right now.
Yeah. Well, for right now, what else can they do?
Right.
I mean, the other priority is going on a vacation. But yeah,
where do you think they're going to go?
If I were them,
yeah,
I'd probably do like a Cabo, Mexico situation.
Right.
Get away from
not St. Louis.
I wouldn't go to St. Louis if the trip was comped.
I was trying to set you up there.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
Oh, here we go.
Milwaukee.
Oh boy,
you're better off walking your dog.
Smyly does have a mutual option for $10 million, but both sides are trying to work on something bigger, perhaps.
I don't want to pay him $10 million.
Right. So maybe 2 years for less than 10 a year.
Bingo.
Right.
Maybe like a 2 years, 12 situation.
I can see that.
Look, here's the summary of the show. You ready for this? Because it's gloomy. I'm getting a little fatigued. Lot of stuff from Tom Ricketts, guys, and you can You can take what you want from Ricketts. You could be angry, you could be happy, or you could be like me and just shrug it off. A lot of stuff from Jed Hoyer, who I believe in, right? But it's a lot of this. If you're listening on audio, I'm doing the talking symbol to my hands. A lot of speak. At the end of the day, it's about the 27th out. The Cubs are winning that baseball game. And a year from now at this time, we're either playing or we just played or we almost played. And we're talking about PCA and we're talking about Davis and Alcantara coming up soon. Maybe Davis will already be there, but whatever. Winning, okay? And for everybody that somebody commented today, Sam, you can't come up with a better center fielder than JBJ. We might as well bring in PCA. If you've been listening to the show, it's a placeholder. The Cubs were absolutely awful defensively in center field this year. So you're just bringing in a guy to fix that and not worry about the bat until PCA is ready. He will not be ready next year, or of course that would be the logical thing. It's not desperate enough to where you're going to stunt his growth by bringing him up early.
There's no way.
You want a guy for a year. The guy hits 205 but plays great center field, so you could fix that. Fine.
Yeah, and again, we got plenty of time, but who's to say JBJ or Kiermaier, whoever, maybe only gets them to June 1st? And then, okay, Brennan Davis, it's your turn.
Right.
Alexander Canario, it's your turn.
Or
guys even ahead of PCA in the chronological order.
Or they're surprising. They're 15 over, up 3 in the division. They make a blockbuster trade at the deadline for a guy that has a year left on his deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of things going on. The Cubs have a lot of assets.
There's a lot of things going on, and we're going to get to them all.
We're going to talk about what this team needs to do to what?
Win. To win. And
tired of hearing all win.
That's going to win. Sorry. That's going to include player grades. That's going to include some Ian Happ follow-up. That's going to include some trade and free agent conversation, including this Friday's show, folks. We are going to put our definitive spin on the shortstop market.
Yeah, we're gonna make our take officially.
Who are these guys? What do they bring to the table? And who do we want? That's what we're going to do. And when I think about Iowa football's offense being 131st in the nation, I relax because I know the Cubs are in a good place. Okay?
Do you want me to respond to that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube. We would greatly appreciate that. Smash the like button when you view our videos as well. On the audio side, that's Apple, that's Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. And drop us a text this week, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second the Game to Game podcast on the Locked On MLB feed. A lot of exciting playoff action already. There's nothing like Locked On's Game to Game show the next day to recap all the action. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.